What are the top 5 best places to live around Savannah, Georgia? Let's see. Listen, if you're planning on moving to Savannah, Georgia, or you have it as one of your options, and you maybe visited Savannah at some point, but you never went around the neighborhoods, this is a perfect video for you, okay? This is for people from out of the state of Georgia who are planning on moving and have no idea where to get started. So I wanted to give you a head start showing you the top 5 best places to live based on data. Right? Not based on opinion, meaning the 5 areas that you're about to see are the ones that the majority of people are choosing, meaning the ones with the most amount of sales. Okay, so we're gonna start from 5 to number 1, and yes, number 1 is the one with the most amount of sales for a reason that I'm about to share with you. And on top of that, I will show you, as a bonus, one of the areas that at this point is not on the top 5, but I know it's gonna get there eventually because it's a booming area. Okay, so stay until the end so you can learn. And by the way, if this is your first time watching, I'm Bruno. I am a realtor down here in Savannah, Georgia, and all I do all day long is help people like you from out of the state relocate to this area. This is exclusively the channel about real estate in Savannah. Okay, starting with number 5 is Guyton, Georgia. Okay, Guyton, Georgia is part of Effingham County. Now, just so you're aware, the Savannah, Georgia metro area is 3 counties. You have Chatham County, Effingham County, and Bryan County. Guyton is number 5 on the list, right, in terms of the most amount of sales in the last 12 months, and it's in Effingham County. This is a very small town, about 40 minutes away from the downtown area, 30 minutes away from other spots of Savannah, Georgia. So let me share with you, why are people choosing this area? What are the pros and cons, what people like, what people don't like, and what to expect if you're planning on putting this area on your list. So the first thing you need to know about Guyton is that it is a small town, not that many people in there. It's a little bit secluded, meaning a little bit country. Not that much traffic. The schools, by the way, are great compared to Savannah, so that's a big plus. You're gonna find a lot of single family homes, not condos. So if you're looking for condos, focus on downtown Savannah. Guyton, Georgia also have mobile homes. Now, the benefit of that is it's more quiet, less action. That means you're gonna get more home for your money there. The land lots are bigger than in Savannah and in Pooler, Georgia, for example. So you're gonna have more home for your money in that area, but you have to think about the trade-off. Do you wanna be secluded from Savannah? Do you wanna have to drive another, 20 minutes to the supermarket, etc.? So those are the things to consider in Guyton, Georgia. Now, in terms of price range, in Guyton, you're gonna find houses in the mid 300s all the way to 400, even 450, depending on how big the home is. Now, let me show you 3 examples of homes that pretty much sold recently in Guyton, Georgia. That way you can get an idea of how much home you can get for your money. Here it is. Now, moving on to number 4 on the list is Port Wentworth, right here in Chatham County, Georgia, okay? Port Wentworth is very close to Pooler, Georgia, and also very close to the downtown area. When I say very close, I mean about 15 minutes away, depending on traffic. Now, something that I don't like, and I know a lot of people also dislike or pretty much hate, is that Port Wentworth is very close to the Port of Savannah. We have the 3rd biggest port in the nation. So you're gonna have a lot of semi-truck traffic on Highway 21. A lot of traffic, and it can get very ugly, especially if there's an accident in the area. Now, in terms of housing, not only you can find houses that are almost brand new, also D.R. Horton is building right there in a community called Rice Hope. You have Landmark 24, which is another building in Rice Creek. So there's new construction, there's older homes in Port Wentworth. You can find homes from the low 300s all the way to the mid 400s, okay, depending on what you're wanting to find. Now, going back to distance, if you were to live in Port Wentworth, yes, you're gonna have access to the supermarket. You can go downtown Savannah in about 15-20 minutes. You can also go to the airport, right? The Savannah, Georgia, Hilton Head International Airport. You can go there in about 10-15 minutes as well. You can also go to the Tanger Outlets, which is the place where most people in this area go shopping, and you can get there in about 10-15 minutes as well. Now, another thing that you should know, not only about Port Wentworth, but also about Chatham County in general, which is the Savannah, Georgia county, is the school districts. If they are super important to you, you're not gonna find the best schools in Chatham County. That means if that is your number 1 priority, you either have 2 options. Either you get out of Chatham County, meaning go to the other counties around, or put your kids in private schools, okay? And that includes Port Wentworth and some of the other areas that you're about to learn in this video. Now, just like I did with Guyton, Georgia, I wanna show you 3 examples of homes that recently sold in Port Wentworth, so you can at least paint that picture in your mind of how much home you can get for your money. Here it is. Real quick, if you are from out of the state of Georgia and you're planning on making the move, but you have no idea how to get organized and how to compare the areas with one another, I have the Out of the State Buyer's Guide. Download it right here on this link or go to the description of this video, because that will help you with everything you need to know to get started with the move. Right now, moving on to number 3 on the list is South Savannah. Now I have to say the zip code. I'm referring to zip code 31419. The reason why I'm mentioning the zip code is because there's not such a thing as South Savannah. They call it South Savannah just because it's on the south. But I'm referring to the area of Georgetown, Bradley Point, Berwick Boulevard, and also Windsor Forest. All of that. This is one of the biggest zip codes, and it's one of the best locations for people that are gonna be working downtown, or maybe if you're in the military and you wanna work at Hunter Army Airfield, anything like that. South Savannah is pretty much one of the best places to live around here. Now, when it comes to home prices and housing around here, around the South Savannah area, you have to take into account this. If you go to Windsor Forest, you're gonna find a bunch of old homes, single story. They're not gonna be open concept. A lot of them are gonna be renovated, of course, by people who are not necessarily the best fix and flippers on the market. If you're gonna be looking at Windsor Forest, you have to take into account the plumbing issues, okay? Those homes are from the 1950s and 1960s, so they have metal pipes. They're corroded. A lot of houses have been renovated on the outside, meaning they put some makeup on it, but you have no idea what's behind those walls and under the foundation of that property. Now, Georgetown, I love Georgetown. A lot of people love Georgetown. There is a combination of a lot of military people, a lot of people who retire there, young couples. That is one of the most diverse neighborhoods that I know of in this area. Georgetown, you're gonna find homes all the way from the 1990s, early 2000s, and also even some brand new constructions in that area. Georgetown is very, like I said, diverse, not only in terms of demographics, people, but I'm talking also about properties. You can find 2-story, single-story, small homes, big yard, small yard, new, old, whatever you want, you can find it right there in Georgetown. You can find homes all the way from $300,000, right? Maybe to 80. If it's under 300, by the way, it's probably not in the best shape. Does that make sense? But you can also find homes in the 350s and 400s. Now, moving on to Bradley Point, which is part of the same zip code, right? Bradley Point is almost, I mean, not new, of course, but I would say all the way from 2005 to brand new construction, okay? Landmark 24, which is another local builder, have built a lot of homes right there in the Bradley Point area. That area is great. Also, one of the most well-known areas, like I mentioned at the beginning, is the Berwick Boulevard communities. I have videos of every single place that I've mentioned here. Windsor Forest, Georgetown, Bradley Point area, Berwick Boulevard communities. I have videos about all of them. This video that I'm making right now is just for you to have that in your brain and say, okay, at least I know how to get started. Let me just put that one on my list so I can do some research. If you need answers, call me or text me. I meet people here at the construction places where they say, Bruno, I've seen your YouTube videos. Like, why didn't you call me? You're struggling right now doing some research when you can literally just make a phone call and I can answer 20 questions for you. Okay, so just do that whenever you can. Now, here are a few examples of homes that sold in Windsor Forest, in Georgetown, Bradley Point, and also the Berwick Boulevard communities. Check this out. Moving on to number 2 is Pooler, Georgia. Now, Pooler, Georgia is only about 20 minutes away from downtown, 10 minutes away from the airport. Also, you have the Tanger outlets. You have a bunch of restaurants. It looks more modern, but there's something negative that you need to know. Actually, 2 things. Number 1, traffic sucks. Now, with that being said though, traffic sucks only for the reason that everyone wants to be in Pooler. So that tells you something. Number 2, the schools suck. Everyone knows the schools in Pooler are not the best. Actually, the schools in Chatham County, for the most part, are not the best. Now, is it safe? Yes, it is safe, considerably safe. All of these areas that I'm mentioning are the top 5 because they're not violent or anything like that. You're always gonna find some type of crime on all of these areas regardless anyway. It don't matter. But at least when it comes to school and traffic, I can tell you that openly. Now, Pooler, people love it because of what I mentioned. You have the Costco, you have Publix, you have Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, a bunch of restaurants, whether it's the, traditional fast foods. You have some local restaurants too, down the street from the airport, okay? If you wanted to go to Savannah, it's only 20 minutes away. You also have I-95, you have I-16 right there through Pooler and all of that. So there's not much to complain when it comes to Pooler. Now, something you need to know about Pooler is this. If you're looking for houses that have a lot of space in between them, meaning like the houses are very separated from each other, big lots, you don't have that much option in Pooler. You're gonna find a bunch of single family homes that are close to each other, what people call cookie cutter. If you go, for example, to Savannah quarters, which I also have videos of that on my channel. If you go to Savannah Quarters, you're gonna find homes that are more custom built. The lots are bigger. At the same time though, they're not gonna be extremely separated from each other either in a lot of the places in Savannah Quarters. Okay, now the majority of Pooler though, you're gonna find homes from 2005 and up. There's also another area in Pooler that people call it Old Pooler, which is where you can find homes without an HOA in Pooler. But yes, you're gonna have to take into account that if you don't want an HOA, that means those houses are probably gonna be between 1970 all the way to 2000, maybe 1990s if you're lucky. Now in Pooler, for the most part, you're gonna find homes that are above $350,000, right? $350,000 and up. Now, if you go to the gated community, which is called Savannah Quarters, you have to take into account, you can find homes from $400,000 all the way to $4 million. Okay, now with that being said, let me show you 3 examples of homes that have recently sold in Pooler, Georgia. Here it is. Now, before I move on to number 1, let me remind you of this. I'm about to share with you a bonus of an upcoming and booming area that you should also put on your list and consider to do some research on. But number 1 right now, based on data, not an opinion, is Richmond Hill, Georgia. This is the area where the most amount of families are choosing to put their money and say, you know what, this is it. Here's my money, take it. I'm moving in. I'm putting my family here. I'm raising my kids here. Richmond Hill, Georgia. Now, there are some things you need to consider because if you visit Richmond Hill, you're gonna notice something strange. You're gonna wonder, why are people choosing this? I mean, I still don't get it. Like, what's going on? Well, let me tell you this. Richmond Hill feels a little bit country, a little bit secluded. Like, there's not much going on. You have Highway 17 that connects Savannah to Richmond Hill. You're gonna see supermarkets. You're gonna see a few restaurants, small stores. But for the most part, there's a bunch of trees everywhere. So tons of nature, right? It doesn't feel like a city. It just feels like a very small town that is secluded. But the number one reason is that they have one of the best school districts in the entire state of Georgia. That is why people are choosing Richmond Hill. Not only that, they also have one of the best and most well-known communities in the Savannah, Georgia metropolitan area, which is Waterways. And yes, I have videos about Waterways in this channel. But Waterways is a gated community with awesome amenities. They have new homes being built right now by Pulte Homes. I got 4 clients from out of the state who chose Waterways, by the way. So if that's you, don't forget to call me or text me because I can connect you and also give you some discounts in Pulte, in any new construction home in Waterways, and Richmond Hill in general, any area, just call me. But Richmond Hill not only have the best schools, they also have one of the safest places to live. You're not gonna find much crime like you see in Savannah. So if you're considering schools and safety, you have to put Richmond Hill on your list. That is pretty much mandatory. Now, another reason why Richmond Hill attracts so many people is because it's right in between Savannah and Hinesville, okay? You have the military base, Fort Stewart, in Hinesville, Georgia. You also have Hunter Army Airfield in Savannah. A lot of military people go right there in the middle, which is Richmond Hill. Because not only you're close to 2 cities, but you're 30 minutes away from downtown Savannah. You're also 25 minutes away from Hinesville. And also, if you wanted to go to Pooler, Georgia, meaning the Tanger outlet, you can get there in about 25 minutes if you get on the highway. So the location is perfect. Now, something to take into account is this: flood zones in any area, not only in Richmond Hill, any area, but also you have to take into account that the prices are higher. It's more expensive than Savannah, more expensive than Pooler, Georgia as well. So if you want Richmond Hill, you're gonna get pretty much everything, but you have to pay the premium for it. With that being said, let me show you 3 examples of homes that just sold recently right here in the Richmond Hill area. Check this out. Now, as promised, let me share with you the bonus of the upcoming and booming town around here. And it is Bloomingdale, Georgia. Bloomingdale, Georgia is an area that is not developed yet. They started building maybe 6, 7 communities already. You have townhomes, single family homes. All of them are new construction. They're building gas stations, Dunkin' Donuts, Dairy Queen. They're gonna build a supermarket, a public supermarket. So that area is gonna turn into a mini version of Pooler. And by the way, I just bought myself a house here in Bloomingdale, Georgia. Now, Bloomingdale, Georgia, when I'm talking about Bloomingdale, I'm referring to the area of Little Neck, right? Little Neck Road. Little Neck Road, so if you go on Google, Little Neck Road, you're gonna find a bunch of dirt patches on the map, and those are the brand new developments going on. Now, I also have videos of every single community on this channel. So if you're planning on getting a new construction home and you want a discount, call me, text me. That's it for now. I'm Bruno, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.